First, I need to define what it is I mean by hate. When I speak about hate, I mean it in its most foundational sense. The evolutionary feeling of true hatred that comes about so rarely in life. Well, hopefully it comes about rarely in your personal life. It's uncommon, but it's a feeling you only know of when it's there, and it can only come about under specific circumstances. Again, hopefully that's the case anyway. Hate is as strong as love, and they both stem from a particular part of us. Just like love, hate requires an immense amount of passion. When you have a simple distaste for something, or disliking, it's not the same. You might meet somebody who likes Persona, for example. They'll tell you they like Persona. You say you don't like it, and then you both go your separate ways. You go the rest of your days not thinking anything of it, and you never think about Persona again until the next time somebody brings it to your attention. You don't really care. You aren't bothered in the slightest that that person likes Persona. By my definition in this video, that's not what I mean by hate. I'm Home Depot Gaming, and today we're going to be taking a look at the state of hatred in society and the role it plays when it comes to video games and things like that. Hate, in its strongest form, is a thing you've probably felt for at least one co-worker in your life. A person who, when they're around, you feel a real, tangible, dark cloud hanging in the atmosphere, and when they go away, you actually feel the pressure lift from the air, and you can breathe again. When you hate someone, or in the case of this video, something, you dedicate yourself to it. You involuntarily pledge a piece of your heart to it, and are cursed to have it perpetually occupy space in your waking mind. It's a passionate sentiment that we all feel for some things, and when hate meets love in the context of fictional art pieces, things can get very messy. I seek to argue, just like humans enjoy gushing about things they really truly love, we've got to leave room for those same humans to enjoy venting about things they truly hate. We cannot conquer hate with love, and we cannot conquer love with hate. We just have to let both persist and graze throughout the pastures of the internet. After typing this out, I realise how that sounds. And obviously I'm just talking about people's opinions on art. In the context of real life, if you're hateful towards specific groups of people, instead of watching this video to justify that fact, please, you have to kill yourself. Anyways, as I was saying, it's healthy to be a hater. In fact, it can be a very fun way to pass the time. We've all seen somebody in a comment section somewhere who seems like they're being a hater just for the sake of being a hater. Hopefully, we have all had the opportunity to be that person as well. I imagine we all have that specific thing we like to keep as part of our identity, something we hate that we are proud of hating. For example, you might not have ever seen the Harry Potter movies, and you're happy about that fact. You make a point to tell everybody that you've never seen them, and you never will. You might hate Taylor Swift, and you take every chance you can to hate on her whenever she gets mentioned. Perhaps when that football team was going to the football Super Bowl in America, and she was dating that football player, you got excited at the thought that somebody could potentially blow her head off live on national television. And the more popular and relevant she got in pop culture, the more your hate exacerbated. And hating on her started to become something of a hobby for you. Or, akin to the first example I laid out, you may very well hate Persona. Like, maybe a series of events led you down a path where you could not stop thinking about Persona, and your enmity festered. Now you engage with the franchise as strongly and passionately as a Persona lover. You get as much enjoyment out of hating Persona as any Persona fan gets out of loving it. You get as much enjoyment out of hating Persona as the enjoyment you get out of playing Club Penguin every day, which conversely you love, you have t-shirts of, you've dedicated a chunk of your heart to. After all, we're haters and lovers at the same time. All of us. Both. Of course, hate too passionately on one thing, and you'll find yourself in the woods, proverbially. Proverbially? You may be hit with that old familiar phrase, let people enjoy things. Or simultaneously, that one comic where the fedora guy, he says, quit having fun. The truth is, everyone is having fun. The people playing Persona, the people in the background criticizing it, they're all having fun. There's another common response you might receive if you're being a hater. You must be so miserable. No, absolutely not. I'm absolutely not miserable, as a matter of fact. Anyone who's truly hated on something knows they're not miserable about it. And the thing is, we've all hated on something. There's also the simple fact that somebody who hates something hates it so dearly because they used to love it. Perhaps a remake of their favorite game of all time came out, acting as a replacement for the original art. Maybe it literally was a replacement. The studio took the original off digital storefronts, making it inaccessible for new generations to experience. Perhaps this fan didn't like the remake, seeing it as a far cry from what made the original so lovable. These things can compound to create haters on a massive scale. Possibly as well, a new installment in a beloved franchise came out and has deviated down a path the fan finds disagreeable. To be more specific, this is the case for me and Monster Hunter Wilds. In my opinion, Monster Hunter Wilds has continued an ongoing trend towards a design philosophy I find totally out of whack with why I love that series. I feel that the first 4 generations of Monster Hunter games offered an experience that is gradually becoming unrecognizable in the last 3 iterations. I could go on, but in the interest of brevity, I'll just say that I'm very much a lover and a hater when it comes to Monster Hunter. I don't hate Monster Hunter Wilds, but I promise you beyond every certainty that I will always be a hater towards it. I feel as though it's my obligation as a lover of Monster Hunter. I need to somehow get my opinion out there along with other fans. So maybe one day some aspects of the game can go back to what I feel made them so amazing. In general, I feel that things have been too streamlined in an attempt to make the game accessible to a vastly broader audience. I've been called a miserable, toxic gatekeeper for expressing that viewpoint. True enough, that may very well be the case. I may be a miserable, toxic gatekeeper. But I became a lover of Monster Hunter because of its inaccessible nature. Now, is it truly inaccessible if I and so many others were able to access it, and it spoke to us, spoke to our very souls? The nature of this game was perfect to us. Now I find the series, ironically, to be less accessible to somebody like me. It seems like I'm being pushed out of a home I felt welcome in for almost 20 years. To welcome in new fans, most of whom aren't interested in the slightest about where the series came from, are quick to write it off as janky or needing quality of life upgrades. This is precisely what's turned me into a hater. To summarise, I think the most important thing to remember is that when somebody is hating on something you love, they are not hating on you. Just as haters should try to not get offended when somebody loves a thing they hate, we should strive for the opposite as well. Because we all occupy both sides, love and hate. Another counter-argument many people may have: idiotic buffoons should be called out for unconstructive arguments or just ranting. It's the same thing, reversed yet again. You could say the same for people going on and on about something they love. There's not anything wrong with venting about something like that, especially when you're not personally hurting or insulting anybody. In the case of hate, this is obviously dependent on a case-by-case basis. But when it comes to somebody hating on art, what harm are they really doing? They're certainly not insulting you. They're insulting something they feel passionate about. Something else that springs to mind: highly contentious video essays. For example, like Grobcat's multiple videos about the Resident Evil 4 remake. It presents a point that the remake is worse than the original. Even in the titles of the videos, referring to Resident Evil 4 remake as soulless or a product of its time. And whether it's just because of the bold claim of the title or the actual content of the video, a chord is struck with people. Certain video essayists are told to leave whatever the topic is alone and get out of town for their clownish opinion. Based on my own logic, they have the right to hate on a video. But what I'm really talking about here would be the people who comment on these videos as if they're harmful to society, as if the video itself is trying to present some objective truth that everyone should believe. They're not! No video essay is objective. By definition, it's not objective. Even the most bombastic opinion delivered in a video essay as if it's fact will stimulate discussion and disagreement among people, which, if seen in the right light, is a positive thing. We should all disagree more. And that's just about all I wanted to say about that. So I'll see you all in the next video. Hopefully you enjoyed this exclusive Dr. Manhattan Oblivion Let's Play footage in the background there. Next week, I'll see you, and we're going to be playing some more Oblivion. Here we're going to kill some more fools with the power of the Watchman class, Dr. Manhattan. And Def Jam Vendetta, we're going to be playing that as well on the PS2. I'm going to be taking on Pockets, House, and Snowman in the 3v1 of the century. It's going to be crazy. Don't miss it. Peace.